This is Teachable Moments with April podcast, and you guessed it, I'm your host, April. If you're a returning listener and a part of the Teachable Moments with April podcast family, welcome back. For those of you who are checking me out for the first time, well, hello and welcome. To everyone listening, look for the teachable moments that are all around you. Enjoy. This is your host, April. So in this particular episode, we're going to look at the holiday that is actually today, March 17th, that is recognized, a popular holiday that is recognized as St. Patrick's Day or St. Patty's Day, which I used to celebrate and I often looked forward to, and I would basically, when I say celebrate, dressed in green. It was part of my father's heritage, and I never really thought anything, about it in that way, that it was something, bad. Um, I just thought it was a way of connecting with my father, even though he's not here, and his culture and my other part of my heritage. But there's some more to St. Patrick's Day or St. Patty's Day than meets the eye. So I found some content on a blog called Arcane Trail, and I liked how they presented it. It was actually published last year, last St. Patrick's Day, and I'd like to share it with you. So basically, it opens up and it says St. Patrick's Day is celebrated around the world every year, on March 17th. This holiday is usually associated with the color green, which is actually my favorite color too, shamrocks, and Irish culture. However, what most people don't know is that St. Patrick's Day has very deep pagan roots that date back to pre-Christian Ireland. Now in this, and they say as in this blog, they'll explore the pagan origins and how they influence the holiday that we all celebrate today. So it says, before Christianity arrived in Ireland, the ancient Celts celebrated the spring equinox, which falls on March 21st, with a festival known as Ostaria. So we've already talked about Ostaria, aka Easter. Okay. This festival was a celebration of the end of winter and the start of the spring season. The Celts believed that during the spring equinox, the veil between the physical world and the spiritual world was at its thinnest, and they would perform rituals to honor their gods and goddesses. Okay. Now, one of the most important deities in the Celtic pantheon was Ostaria. Okay. Or Istaria, the goddess of spring and fertility. Her name is believed to have given rise to the modern English word Easter. There it is. The Celts would offer sacrifices and perform other rituals to honor Istaria and ensure a successful harvest in the coming months. So even, I don't know what the beliefs of the individual who wrote this blog, they actually said it. We talked about in the previous set of episodes I did before about Easter, okay, and about these pagan spring and fertility rites that have somehow turned away. They, have turned away from what is actually in the Bible. A holy day is Passover. A holiday is Easter, but at its root, it's actually Ostaria or Istaria, which have its roots in spring fertility pagan rites. It's saying it here. And I also talked about and made reference about the popular show that was on Stars that was called American Gods. And they would basically look at different folklore from different cultures, okay? Whether it be Celtic, whether it be Native American, African, and I'm sure as the like I said, I only seen season 1, and I saw partial season 2. But when it came to Easter, especially Easter, when season 1 ended, you're introduced to the goddess behind Ostaria, okay? And what that is all about. And they basically tell you, put it in your face, that behind Easter, when people celebrate Easter, it is in fact a pagan rite of spring, okay, named Ostaria, okay. And I forgot the actress that actually played the goddess that was behind it. So when people in nowadays think that they're celebrating Easter and it has something to do with Jesus, the resurrection, with all these other things, it's actually a pagan goddess and pagan ways. Because what do Easter eggs, Easter bunnies, and all that other stuff have to do with Jesus? When you actually look at it, it has nothing to do with him, okay? And it is not in the Bible. All right, so one of the most important deities they said about that, they reiterate about the harvest, and they offering sacrifices and perform other rituals, okay, to honor Ostaria or Eastaria, to ensure a successful harvest in the coming months. And we also talked about what is behind the word festival, okay? That's in some episodes I did before. So they said in the early 5th century, Christianity arrived in Ireland when St. Patrick, which was a missionary who became the patron saint of Ireland. St. Patrick is said to have converted the Irish people to Christianity by using the shamrock, a 3-leaved clover, to explain the Holy Trinity. He also used traditional Irish symbols such as the sun and the cross to represent Christian concepts. Now, St. Patrick's Day began as a Christian feast day to honor St. Patrick and his accomplishments. The first St. Patrick's Day parade was held in Boston in 1737, and the holiday became an official Irish holiday in 1903. Now, despite its Christian origins, or not so Christian, many of the traditions associated with St. Patrick's Day have pagan roots. Okay, note that. For example, the color green is associated with St. Patrick's Day because it represents the rebirth of spring. And in pagan times, green was also associated with fertility and the natural world. And the shamrock, which is now a symbol of Ireland, was originally a sacred plant to the Celts and were believed to have protective powers. So, on the surface, it may seem, cool and benign. There's no harm there, but there is a lot of paganistic things behind that, and we already talked about how Christianity has been compromised and tried to incorporate, and has incorporated things that they've known are questionable in order to get people to continue or to convert them, but then they have absorbed it into the religion itself. Okay, and they have moved away from the Bible and kept these traditions that are very much paganistic. So it says the importance of fire. Fire was also an important part of the Ostaria's festival, and its importance continued even after the arrival of Christianity. Now, bonfires were lit on hilltops to welcome the spring and ward off evil spirits. So when you also the other when I read this, I think about Halloween. So a lot of times they did that also during Halloween under the guise that it was to ward off evil spirits. That's what they used to do. In some parts of Ireland, people still light bonfires on St. Patrick's Day. Now, another tradition associated with St. Patrick's Day is the wearing, going back to the green, which is my favorite color. Okay, the Celts believed that wearing green would protect them from evil spirits. Say what? And the color is still associated with luck and good fortune. Now, in Ireland, it is customary to wear a small bunch of shamrocks on St. Patrick's Day, which is a nod to the plant's original significance. Then it goes on to say what is the role of music and dance. Now, music and dance have always been important parts of Irish culture, and they played a role in the Ostaria festival as well. Look at that. So, I'd also had done some episodes into music and dance. Okay, that it is a valid vehicle, both of them, music and dance, in any type of worship, even in the church itself. Okay, God, the Heavenly Father's love of music, it is a form of worship, even for Him. The angels in heaven, okay, singing. When we think about Satan, before his fall, he was in charge of music. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So the Celts would sing and dance around the bonfire to celebrate the arrival of spring. Today, traditional Irish music and dance are still an important part of St. Patrick's Day celebrations. Now, the Irish step dance, which is characterized by quick, precise movements of the feet and legs, is perhaps the most famous form of Irish dance. It originated in the 18th century and is now performed around the world. So, in conclusion to this particular blog, it says St. Patrick's Day is a holiday that is celebrated around the world, but few people know about its pagan origins. While Christianity eventually replaced pagan beliefs in Ireland, many of the traditions associated with St. Patrick's Day still have deep pagan roots. Okay. From the color green to the shamrock and bonfires, these traditions offer a fascinating glimpse into the ancient beliefs and practices of the Celtic people. Whether you celebrate St. Patrick's Day for its religious you say, or cultural significance, it's important to understand the holiday's rich history and diverse influences that have shaped it over the centuries. Okay, so in all honesty, this is a very nicely written blog, but it's kind of putting in your face that this is paganistic, this particular holiday. Okay, and the Christianity part, no. Because, we have to go back to this if we're going to be fair, okay? Like I said, I used to enjoy this holiday. I loved wearing my green because that was my favorite color. It still is my favorite color. And the other things that would go along with it. When I had a classroom, I would decorate the classroom. But if we're going to be objective here, St. Patrick's Day is not in the Bible. That's just what that is. So, and it's this particular individual, whoever they may be, is basically telling you that it has paganistic roots that have nothing remotely to do with Christ or Jehovah God. It has nothing remotely to do with the Bible. Although they mention a saint, which is St. Patrick, who was a missionary. Okay? But we're not worshiping St. Patrick, but I'm believing if you celebrate this holiday, actually you are. Alright, so kind of a sidebar to the previous segment on St. Patrick's Day and its pagan origins. I came across something online, and it's from thebusypagan.com, and what kind of brought me in is their emphasis on St. Patrick's Day, but they also say on their page, Happy Snakes Day. So anyone who's even just basically, just rudimentary, a beginner, they've heard of how St. Patrick drove out the snakes out of Ireland. So that was not mentioned in the previous segment in that particular person's blog, Arcane Trail. So I kind of curious. I want to see what they may have to say about this reference to snakes. Okay, now if we step outside of this and we think about the Bible and we think about snakes, who is associated with the serpent? Who is associated with the serpent? Let's think about this. I don't think we have to think very long. And it's very interesting that St. Patrick's Day has links to pagan gods and goddesses, in this case Ostaria, and then the appearance, surprise, surprise, or not so surprise, of serpents and snakes. So it says, exploring All Snakes Day, pagans and St. Patrick's Day connections. All right, and then they actually have like a Celtic, it looks like stained glass pattern here that I'm seeing, and it has a snake intertwined in it. Let's go down and let's see what they have to say about this. Now they say, while primarily a Christian holiday, there's a growing curiosity about its pagan connections to St. Patrick's Day, widely celebrated with green attire, parades, and festivities, and is rooted in the commemoration of St. Patrick, which is the patron saint of Ireland. The day is often associated with the legend of St. Patrick driving snakes out of Ireland, a story that, while not historically accurate, Ireland never had snakes to begin with, is interpreted by some as a metaphor for the Christianization, of Ireland and the driving out of pagan practices, is what they're saying here. So it says, what is All Snakes Day? Not All Saints Day, All Snakes Day. Now, All Snakes Day emerges as a compelling counter-narrative to St. Patrick's Day. The earliest found mention of it has been by Isaac Bonewits, a Druid, and a founder of a particular association. I'm just going to call it association. This day interprets the snakes in St. Patrick's lore as symbols of ancient pagan traditions rather than literal serpents. Celebrated concurrently with St. Patrick's Day on March 17th, today, All Snakes Day is an homage to Ireland's pagan heritage, offering a moment to reflect and recognize the island's rich spiritual past. Now, the history of All Saints Day do tell. The inception of All Snakes Day traces back to modern neo-pagans seeking to reclaim and acknowledge the pre-Christian traditions of Ireland. By reframing the narrative around St. Patrick's Day, All Snakes Day provides an opportunity, to celebrate the diversity of spiritual beliefs and practices that have shaped Irish history. It's a day that invites us to engage in the complexities of cultural religious transitions, highlighting the resilience and adaptation of pagan traditions in the face of Christianity. So clearly, this is not, it can't be both. We already know you must pick sides with something. You may straddle the fence, so St. Patrick's Day can't be both a Christian holiday, considered a Christian holiday, meaning hearkening to the Bible, and be pagan at the same time. It has to be one or the other. And anyone, just take a moment and think about it. When you've read the Bible, have you ever seen anything in the Bible about St. Patrick's Day? No, you haven't. I haven't. The Bible that I haven't seen it. So when you really sit in it and you think about it, no. And then you come across this information. It's not any special information. Anyone can access this. This is online. This is telling you what it is. So it goes on to say, when is All Snakes Day All Snakes Day celebrated? And they've already told us that it is done today on the same day as St. Patrick's Day, simultaneously. In fact, this timing, they say, is strategic, okay? Offering a parallel celebration that honors the pagan elements of Irish culture alongside the Christian holiday. It encourages the day of reflection, education. See, you see how it sounded? Okay. And celebration of Ireland's ancient traditions and the symbolic significance of the snake. What does the snake in the Bible signify? All right, now. Okay, so let me go a little bit. They're kind of saying the same thing over and over again in different ways about trying to explain what is All Snakes Day. So they give this impression that it's not about literal snakes, but a significance and representation of snakes, which makes me think about when people say that they are Satanists or Satanists, or the temple, what do they call it? Oh, the people that say they don't believe in Satan. It's just a representation of or concept that they don't truly believe in Satan, even though it's the temple of Satan, or they're Satanists, which I'm like, kind of like, okay, why don't you just say it is what it is? That's who you're celebrating, or you are worshiping, instead of saying something else, doing what I call double talk. Okay, because that's clearly what you're doing, but what do I know, right? Okay, so as you go down on this particular site, on this particular page, it actually encourages people to celebrate All Saints Day, okay? And how are you going to celebrate it? That I'm going to tell you. You're going to say you're going to kick off All Snakes Day with these ideals, or don't. Honestly, whatever tickles your pagan fancy. Okay, so this is telling people to come forth further, other kindred spirits, literally, pagans. And they actually are encouraging people to make a snake altar. Okay, now we're not talking about, they say, this is what you're saying, that's that double talk, actual snakes. But they're encouraging you, okay, to make an altar to snakes. Okay, it says to honor the symbolism of the snake by creating a dedicated altar space in your home. Okay, so this altar is going to be actually in where you live, in your home, to snakes that are not really about snakes. Okay, they say that you can include images or figurines of snakes. Candles and natural elements like stones or plants. This altar can serve as a focal point for meditation, reflection, or ritual. Yeah, okay. Helping you connect with the transformative and renewing energy of the snake. So, if it's not about snakes, why are you making an altar a snake altar? Yeah. Now, this is the other things after the whole altar situation is other things that, to the majority of people that I've seen, they do it quite often, is they try to make it seem cool, and they try to make it seem really, 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 really fun. So they have host a Snakes on a Couch movie marathon, okay? And then they give all of these, ideals. Okay, so you're going to have people over, you're going to chill out, it's going to be danger free, and then you're going to find all these snake themed movies and documentaries. You're going to grab your coziest blanket. You may have a snake pulp plushie to cuddle or scream into, and it's like honoring ancient traditions with popcorn, and you don't have to worry about the venom, kind of being cheeky, edgy. They're going to talk about you're going to make snake cocktails or mocktails. They give you some suggestions of what to call these cocktails, such as Serpent Sipper and Druid's Delight. Now, Druids were actually warlocks, okay, and they practice witchcraft. But they're going to make it seem like when you celebrate it, you're just being cool and edgy and just, everything's all good. Then they're going to also tell you to get you to make some crafts if you're feeling crafty. But it has to be with snakes. But they're not celebrating snakes because it's not actual snakes. But actually it is. And then they tell you what you're going to do. You're going to make all kinds of snake amulets and snake jewelry. You're going to have to make some snake earrings. You're going to have to make some snake art pieces. You're going to make talismans. That sounds pretty witchy and, pagan. You're going to do it because it's going to protect you. It's going to give you wisdom. And you can connect to the ancient traditions of the Druids that were actually warlocks and witches. And then you can meditate, and then you can infuse it, all this stuff that has to do with snakes, with intentions and a bunch of prayers. That's called what? A ritual. Then you're going to go and wear snake decorated attire. So everything up in this is going to be snakes, snake documentary, snake drinks. You're going to have snake necklace, you're going to have snake earrings, and now the attire it's going to be adorned with snake design. So to me, it seems like you're celebrating and you're worshiping the snake, the serpent, which in the Bible is what we know who it to be, Satan, the devil, okay, the adversary. But it's just a representation. So they even tell you to get a t-shirt featuring a snake motif, a scarf. So your socks going to have serpents on it. You're going to dress and it's going to have snakes all over the dress. You maybe buy you some pants. Maybe you make some pants and you got snakes all over it. And you're going to really make a statement and you're going to be connected. But what you're connected to, they're basically telling you what you're going to be connected to, and there are going to be a lot of people that are not going to really take it seriously, and then there's some bad stuff going to happen to them. Then they go back again to wearing some jewelry, so they really want you to be decked from head to toe with head to toe snakes, okay? So they said wearing jewelry featuring snakes such as rings, bracelets, pendants is a subtle and beautiful celebration. Okay, so it's making it cool. So you go to this party and everybody's just decked out looking like a big old snake. Then it's just, it's just figurative. It's not real, but it's really real. And it serves as a personal reminder of the day's significance, and it's going to spark conversations. I bet it's going to spark a lot of stuff. And you're going to take that stuff home with you if you ain't already at home with all the snakes. And it's going to be bad. About the meaning behind your choice, okay? It's going to be a personal reminder of the day's significance. And then they give a nice little conclusion, and then they tell you to have a blessed Snakes Day, everyone. You were just listening to Teachable Moments with April podcast. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode. We invite you to stay connected with us on our other social media platforms: TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and now Rumble. You can also leave us feedback in 3 ways: in the Interact Features section on the Spotify app, voice messages to the podcast through our customized link, or at teachablemomentswithapril@gmail.com.